Welcome to my vlog.
Oh yeah, welcome to Shadow Palms Vlog. It's a party up in here. Party all day, party all night. Come on, join the fun. Subscribe. Show 'em what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Hello all and welcome. You're going to have to bear with me today. I'm a little tired and sunburnt. Today's my anniversary. I took my wife out on a boat trip earlier and we were out for a few hours and got a little more sun than I planned on. So I'm a little exhausted and a little burnt. But I wanted to do this tutorial today because it's an important one. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about how to do a talking head. Now, not just any talking head. I'm talking projection talking head. Now, some of you who have seen my haunt in the past have seen the talking head on a stake that I do, which is basically pretty much what it is. It's a head on a stake. So I've got this pirate set up, and I've got all these heads on a stake, and I've got one that talks, and its eyes look around. So it's lying there with its eyes closed, and then all of a sudden the eyes pop open. It says, "What are you looking at?" And all this stuff, and the eyes go back and forth, and that's done with a projection illusion. Now that one I did filming myself, and I'll talk about how to do that. And I'm also going to talk about how to do it digitally with 3D models, which if you saw the vlog I did 2 vlogs ago, I showed you examples of me testing those. Now I hadn't finished shaping the actual head that it's going to be projected on yet, so they were just tests, but you got the idea. And the reason for that is sometimes you don't want to just always film yourself because you don't want every head in your haunt looking like you. So anyway, which my wife always gets a kick out of, that it's my face there, and people will come up to my haunt and they'll be looking at that and they'll be like, "Oh, that's so cool," when it's talking, and they'll look at me and they'll be like, "Oh my God, that's you." So anyway, using the 3D, kind of get away from that. So we'll talk about both methods today, and I'll also talk about shaping the head so that you get the best projection onto the head, because what we're going to use is a wig head, and they're awesome right out of the box, but for projection illusion they don't work real well because of the fact that there's a little too much detail in the eyes. So some of you who have been following my vlog for years, back in 2011 you saw me doing the talking head, where I sanded down the eyes and I sanded down the mouth a little bit, and then I coated. And we'll talk about that a little bit more in detail. But right now we're going to talk about doing the voice recording, and we'll also talk about the filming, and we'll also talk about the 3D models. Okay, first thing we're going to talk about is the easiest, and that's just straight out filming yourself or a friend to do the filming of the head. I'm not going to have to show you that because I can pretty much tell you what to do. It's not rocket science. It's pretty simple. Basically, you get any camera that you want to use, any video camera, and you put it on a tripod. You put it in front of you, you crop it out, you get nice and close, so you want to get like this close. You want to get so that basically you just got about this much out. Now you can always crop it out using your software later on if you're back a bit, but keep in mind, as you crop an image in video, you're losing resolution. So you want to keep that in mind, and you want to try to get it fairly close crop so that when you're actually cropping it, if you do need to crop it a little bit, you don't have to crop that much. The other big thing is that you want to do it in front of a black background, because remember, in projection, black equals invisible. So you want it to be invisible, everything around you. All you want to see is the face and the head. Okay, so you want a black background. Now the easiest way to get a black background, you can use a black sheet or something like that, but I found what's the easiest and cheapest, if you don't have something ready to use, is you can run out to your dollar store or to your local Walgreens. Now a dollar store is going to be a little cheaper because everything's just $1 there, but your Walgreens will have them, your CVS, and go to where they have the poster board, and they almost always have black poster board. So you buy about 4 sheets. That should do it. And then all you do is tape it on the wall. So you got 1 sheet here, 1 sheet here, 1 sheet here, 1 sheet here. Because remember, you're trying to crop it out, so you're only filming about this much. So you don't need a whole lot behind you. Ooh, by the way, one little tidbit. That's also a great way to get a cheap green screen. If you ever need to do some green screen work, instead of the black, just get the green. They carry it there too. Tape the green behind you, film yourself, you've got a real cheap green screen. Now you want to have decent lighting on your face because you want your face to be visible, but you don't want a whole lot of lighting reflecting off the black. You want that as matted as possible. So just like this lighting would be fine. Just have the black behind you. Like if I was doing it here, I would tape it up behind me here. So you just want nothing but black behind you and your face. Now a couple things that are going to help a little bit. Facial hair. If you have facial hair, obviously it's going to show up in the projection. Now when I did mine, I had my goatee, but I stopped dyeing it and it got real gray. I didn't want to shave it because my wife probably would have left me because I'm ugly without I'm ugly without my goatee, and I'm a pretty man, so I did not want to lose my goatee. So what I did is I just stopped dyeing it, let it go gray. I do that anyway because, well, I'm lazy and a lot of times I don't bother dyeing it. And it was so gray that when I shot it in the projection, it really didn't show up very much at all. So it worked out fine. So however you want to handle that, if you want to have a friend do it or whatever, you can do it, or if you want to shave, or if you just want to do it with a mustache, because if you have a mustache and a beard, it's going to show up. That's all. So not a big deal. Your character can just have a mustache or a beard, but anything that adds dimension also can mess with it a little bit, but you'll be fine. So anyway, that's how you do that. Then throw it into your software, whatever software you're using for editing, and then edit it. Now, if you're going to be doing a voiceover with it, I would recommend if you can do the recording at the time, because trying to do a voiceover and matching it to your mouth moving is difficult. But you probably don't want to use, if you have a camera with a crappy mic, you probably don't want to record that, because then a lot of times, especially if it's an older camera, you get that sound and you don't want that. If you can use an external mic, that's great. Either put that on another tripod or on a table near you and just record it at the same time that you're recording the video, and you'll get a better quality sound. So you're saying whatever, like, who are you to come into my graveyard, or whatever it is you want to say. Then, of course, you can modify that if you want, and I'll show you how to modify a voice in a minute when we're talking about using the 3D head for the illusion, and I'll talk about we'll be modifying a voice in Audacity. A lot of times I'll use the Sony for it, but I'm going to do it in Audacity this time because I want you to see how to do it, because Audacity is a free program and it's awesome. It really, really rocks. If you haven't used it before, trust me, do yourself a favor and download it. So, and then you can always, modify especially if you record it separately, you can always go in and modify the voice so that it doesn't sound like your voice, because all your neighbors probably know your voice, and it's not going to be as scary if they're like, oh, that's Tim or that's Joe, So anyway, you get what I'm saying. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to record a voice and modify it. Whether you're filming yourself, or whether you're using the 3D method that I'm going to show you in a minute, you still may want to modify your voice some. One quick tip. If you are videotaping yourself and recording your voice separately, you're recording at the same time but on a separate media. For example, you're filming yourself on film and you are recording yourself on your computer because you've got a better microphone, whatever it is. If it's on two separate media and you're going to have to link the two up and have them sync, one little trick is when you're recording, you've got your mic going, you've got your video going. Before you start, do this. Okay? That way you have a visual and an audio cue, and that'll make it a lot easier syncing up the audio to the video. So just do a little clap, and that'll help it. Believe me, it'll make your life so much easier when you're trying to sync the audio and the video. If you can get it all in the same media, well, then you're all set. It's synced anyway. You don't have to worry about it. But just a little trick in case you're not. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to switch this over so that you're looking at Audacity, and we're going to talk about filming voiceover. Basically, this is if you're using, if you're going to do the 3D method, which I'll show you in a minute. But this also works if you're doing just filming yourself so that you can modify the voice. Okay, we just open up Audacity, and then we go to the little round red button. We hit that, and that'll start us recording. And then I'm just saying some zombie type things here to record.
I will eat your brains.
I have no brains. Then once we're done recording, we're going to go on up to effects. I want your brains. Let's play it back first. I can smell your brains. I will eat your brains. I have no brains. Now once we're done playing it back and we're satisfied, we can go up to effects. Then we're going to go to change pitch. Now it's going to open up this dialog box here, and we're going to use this slider here. Slide it to the left to make things sound deeper, to the right to make them sound higher, and then we hit the preview button and we can hear how it sounds. Now this doesn't sound quite low enough for us, for our zombie, so we're going to try going a little further. Now remember, when you're hitting the preview, you're just hearing what it will sound like. It's not being applied to the, it's not applying the changes until you hit OK. So we're going to go a little bit deeper on this one. Still not the zombie we're looking for. We're going to go even a little further to the left. I want your brains. Okay, now we're getting a little closer. I can smell your brains. So I think we can go a little deeper on that one. We're going just a little bit. I want your Now that's the zombie we're looking for. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to hit OK. Now we're going to listen to it back. I want your brains. I can smell your brains. I will eat your brains. I have no brains. And if that's the sound we're looking for, we're going to go ahead and save the project so we can go back and modify it at a later time if we want to. Then we're going to export. And we just go down to export. We decide where we're going to export it to. In this case, I'm putting it to the desktop so I can find it easily because, you know, I tend to lose things. We're going to name it, and we're going to pick the style. I'm just going to save it as a WAV file. Now it's going to ask you who the artist is and all that. I'm just going to leave that blank now because I'm going to be just using it for the projection illusion. We hit OK, and there we go. We're all set. We've got the file modified and saved. Okay, now I know I told you I was going to do the 3D head with the showing you how to do that in DAZ and syncing up, doing the lip sync, but I think I'm going to do that in tomorrow's tutorial. This tutorial ran a little bit long. I want to keep them under 15 minutes because it's over 15 minutes. I think it's just too much for people to watch. I want you to be able to get the information and move on and use it right away. So anyway, today we covered the projection illusion as far as doing video, doing your head in video, also modifying the voice. If you have any questions, please leave a comment and let me know, and I'll get right back to you with an answer, hopefully, if I know the answer. If not, then I guess I just won't be able to help you. So hopefully somebody else will know your question and be able to answer it. So tomorrow I'll do another tutorial where we will talk about using the 3D heads, using DAZ Studio for that. Again, another free program. The model that I'll be using isn't a free model, but you can do the same technique with a free model, or you can create your own model, or there are other free models out there you can find on the web. And we'll be doing lip sync. Now, the one thing with DAZ that I want to say before we get started, DAZ comes in two flavors. You've got the 64-bit and the 32-bit. I have a 64-bit computer, so I have DAZ 64-bit, but I also have the 32-bit. And the reason for that is because the lip sync only comes in the 32-bit. Now, both 64-bit and 32-bit can run side by side. Both on my machine. I do almost everything in 64-bit, but when it comes to lip syncing, I use the 32-bit because it's just not available in the 64. So just a warning to you, if you've got a 64-bit machine, you've downloaded the 64-bit, you want to go back and also download the 32-bit because that's where you've got the lip syncing. Okay, thank you very much. I hope this was fun and informative, and if you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate. Comments, please, whatever. If you didn't see something you want to see or whatever. If you just want to tell me to shut up, that's cool too. All right, thank you very much, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.
Later, dude. Thanks for watching. Oh yeah, don't forget to subscribe.